And welcome. We are at Circuit Lessard, also known as Lemans, the home of the 24-hour endurance race. Today, we have practice for tomorrow's race. As it stands, Paint Man, the man in second place in the championship, is running the fastest lap with a 3:24.5. He's riding the Honda NSX with that bright green livery. Augie, also in the NSX, he's running something blue and white. He dives into the pits. He must want a change in tire. He's not liking what he's feeling. He's going to get updated. He's going to get... Oh, he needs fuel. That's what's going on. He needs fuel. Caleb, he's on his outlap. He's going to be running laps very soon. He's in the Honda NSX with the Red Bull-inspired livery. Next, we have Misfit, also known as Shanna. She's in the NSX. She's making her way down through the back S's. She'll want to have a good exit to have a good start on this lap. Let's ride on board with Misfit. I dropped my controller. Not good. Sorry about that. We're back on with Misfit as she makes her way down the Mulsanne Straits. There's no chicane. Oh, Misfit with the flash of the lights. Pushing that car as far as it'll go as a jet flies by overhead. She's going purple in the first sector. Still flying down the Mulsanne Straight. Let's check behind us. Moy, who's barely in the slipstream of Augie. He has to suffer a 1.5 second penalty. That'll affect his lap times. We're back on with Misfit as she goes through the Mulsanne kink into the Mulsanne corner. She's going to want to get as far left as she can, fling it to the right, and brake in a straight line. Ooh, runs a little wide, but she keeps it. She's going to want to get on the gas, make her way towards Indianapolis. I wish we could show off the livery, but due to the dark nature of the track and the dark nature of the car, it's a little difficult to see. She's approaching Indianapolis, flings it to the right, hard on the gas, hard on the brakes. Perfect as she goes to Arnage. A little slow on the entry, but quick on the exit. Misfit through New Maison Blanche, pushing and pushing. She's got a 3:10, 13 seconds left to go fastest as she approaches the Ford chicane. First set of S's. Second set of S's. She's going to want to get on the gas. She misses out on the fastest lap, but she goes second fastest with a 3:24.3. Only 9/10 of a second behind Paint Man. Let's hop on board with Paint Man as he's left of the Mulsanne corner. Paint Man coming into Indianapolis, flings it around hard on the brake in a straight line, sends it to the left. He's maintaining good pace and good speed. He's 6/10 up as he starts the next sector. We will check in with him in a second. Let's see who's going through Mulsanne right now. That's Caleb. He runs a little wide, but he keeps it. He's 3/10 up from his best lap, which is a 3:30.111. I thought we had another racer in here, but I'm not sure where they went or who it was. That's all right. Augie. Wishing that Moy would slow up a little bit so he could get in the slipstream. Sparks coming out of Moy's car as he blasts down the Mulsanne. Misfit with a 3.5 second penalty. This is not how she wants to be on the back end of her lap. But she'll have plenty of time to set up. Ooh, she has a little moment. That's alright, she will collect herself and she'll go even faster next lap. Paint Man, does he set a new fastest time? I believe he does, with a 3:23.3. He takes out about 3/10 of a second from his last best lap. Good work by Paint Man. Misfit waiting for her opportunity as Augie goes by the Mulsanne corner. I promise I'll cover more corners than the Mulsanne corner. Let's have back on with Caleb as he goes through the Fort Chicane. Left, right, he's on the gas. He improves. He goes 7/10 quicker than his last lap, putting him at a 3:29.4 flat. Through the S's approaching the Dunlop curve. Wrangling that car. Just want to tap the brakes. Quick on, quick off. He makes his way through. He runs a little wide. He's using the whole track, as he should. Light tap on the brakes. Quickly on the gas. He's faster than his last lap, where he was his last lap. He's going to begin the long journey down the Mulsanne Straight. Let's check in with Paint Man. Oh, I'm not going to say Mulsanne again. Moy. He's approaching the Fort Chicanes. Left, then right. Left, then right. You could use a little bit more curb on the first set of S's and he would improve on his time. He puts in a 3:28.4, which is his fastest lap of the session. Augie comes across the line. I don't have any lap time data for him, but that's all right. He's on Racing Hards. He could be on a long stint trying to see how long these tires last. It's going to be a 50-minute race, but he is on lap 9. And if I can do the math correctly, that puts him, I want to say at the 33-minute mark. He's been doing well to make sure he puts those laps in. Running with damage so we can get a better picture of what real racing could be like tomorrow. He flies down the Mulsanne Straight. He's looking to eke every ounce out of those tires and see if he can go the full 50 minutes without having to stop. Paintman pulls off to the side. I believe he's going to post up and watch the people fly. Misfit is in the pits. Life is happening. Paintman is posted up outside the start-finish line straight. He's having a good time just hanging out. Caleb making his way through the Porsche curb in New Maison Blanche. He's coming up to the Ford chicane. Braking a little early. Maybe he's lacking a little bit of confidence through those turns. And he just needs some more practice with them at speed. Ooh, he's on the throttle, but he saves it. This is gonna compromise this lap entirely. And he'll have to set his sights on the following lap. Paintman watching Caleb drive by. Let's check in with Misfit. She's back out on track, going through Tetra Rouge, beautifully going through Tetra Rouge, might I say, and now making her way down the Mulsanne Straight. Caleb he's taking Tetra Rouge, takes it beautifully. We'll want to remember that for his next lap. He starts his journey. Boy, he's leaving New Maison Blanche. Throws the car from the left to the right. He must have had a moment, or no, this is this out lap? No, this is lap 3, so he must have had a moment at some point during the lap. He dives into the pits. He's going to want to fix his damage, maybe get a new set of tires. Augie following suit. He also dives in the pits. They make my job very easy. Ooh, Misfit getting on the gas just a little bit too much coming out of the Mulsanne corner, but that's all right. This is her out lap. It doesn't matter. She's on cold tires. Who gives a hoot? Caleb, he's approaching the Mulsanne corner hard on the brakes. He makes it through nicely. Both Caleb and Misfit seem to get a little too much on the throttle too quickly. And their rear ends are shaking out and about like they're a dancer at a nightclub. Augie and Moy back out on the track. Moy approaching Tetra Rouge first. Augie following quickly behind as he makes his way through the S's. Let's check back in with Misfit. Throwing the car from right to left beautifully. Using all the track. Ooh, she held on to it. Let's do a full onboard lap. With Misfit, aka Shanna. She pushes her way out, starting her lap. She's going to want to maintain as much speed as she can through turn 1 into the hard braking of the left hand at turn 2. She gives Paintman a little hello, hard on the brakes, throwing it to the left, tossing it back to the right as she comes out of the Ford chicane. No, not the Ford chicane. The Dunlop curve. silly, goofy me. She approaches her way through the S's, coming towards Tetraru, using all of the track, lifting a little, getting back down on the power, flying through the Mulsanne. We now begin the long journey on the Mulsanne straight with her. Now is a great time to talk to your loved ones about their day, make sure that they're doing well. Maybe talk to yourself, make sure you're doing well. Who knows? Am I doing well? I am doing well. My assistant asked. Thank you, assistant. You're a wonderful assistant. She makes really good food too. Misfit going 0.002 of a second purple. Midway through the Mulsanne straight. Making her way to the Mulsanne corner now. She's going to throw it to the left or throw it to the right. Hard on the brakes. Runs a little wide but keeps it. Hard back on the gas coming out of Arnage. Not Arnage. The Mulsanne corner. Goodness me. I'm stumbling over myself, but that's alright. Paintman going 2 seconds. Oh, wait, no. A second and some change quicker than his fastest lap. He's running a 3:21.7. Very impressive. The next closest is our current ride-along with Misfit. Hard into Indianapolis. On the gas to Arnage. She's 48 hundredths quicker than her best lap. As she approaches the Porsche curve, she's going to want to make sure her throttle is hard yet delicate. Nice and easy on the brakes through the first set. She's up 1.1 than her best. She's absolutely flying. She's made up some time. Left, right, a little bit on the brakes just to keep it alive. She's pushing and pushing. Through the Ford chicane, avoiding the curb, using all the curb, getting through the second set of S's. She's done great on her time. She's running a 3:23.21.23, almost a second quicker than her personal best. That puts her at a 3:23.4. Beautiful lap from Misfit. Moy and Augie, the only ones on the track, the only ones on the Mulsanne straight. Moy makes his way through the kink as he approaches, you know exactly what corner, the Mulsanne corner. Kissing the curve, carrying as much speed as he can through the corner. He's down 0.2. Maybe he can make up some time. Augie, he sends his way through the Mulsanne corner. These fine gentlemen and gentle ladies have been practicing the last 55 minutes. They putted the time for a full race. I wonder what the competitors have gathered from their time on the track. Is it how long a set of hard tires will last? Is it how quickly a set of medium tires will go? Are they trying to figure out their race strategy as Augie runs a little bit wide coming through Arnage? What kind of data have they all gathered? Let's go to Moy as he makes his way through the Porsche curves, coming out of the Porsche curves. He's sending it through karting, approaching the Ford chicane, through the Ford chicane, coming to Recordement. I don't know if I said that, but I'm somewhat French, so you'll have to forgive me. Ooh, having to run a little deep to avoid the curb. His lap, 3:27.4, and that is a second quicker than his fastest lap. Let's see what Augie puts in. He clocks at 3:34, not his best lap, but he's going to want to get back to it and see if he can put in a better one. Moy coming through the S's. Ooh, little hesitation through Tetra Rouge. Augie, with his hazards on, he could be just trying to figure out the best pace to take some of these corners through. I think he's given up on this lap, and he'll be setting his sights on improving in the next lap. As it stands, Paintman leading the way with 3:21.7. You'll wonder what that time compares to his closest championship rival, Fuego. Fuego, who sits with 2:31. He leads the championship, and Paintman following behind at a 2:13. If Paintman can take a win away from Fuego, and they finish 1-2, Paintman can take 5 points out of Fuego's lead. He'll do anything he can to try and get that lead. Augie dives back into the pits. That leaves us with Moy, who comes out of the Mulsanne corner. This could be the last week for this series, now that I'm thinking about it. I believe this is the last week of this championship. And if that is true, Paintman would need to finish in first place, and Augie would have to finish at least ninth overall. Yeah, Fuego would have to finish around 9th overall. Fuego's going to have to hope and pray that his strategy is worked out well enough to where he can maintain. Oh, it seems we're done. Oh, we're having a practice race, ladies and gentlemen. The order is Augie, followed by Moy, followed by Misfit, followed by Paintman. All of them running the Honda NSX. That seems to be the car of choice. Let's get things started. They make their way through the corners, approaching turn 1. Let's go racing. Augie leads us away, followed by Moy, followed by Misfit, followed by Paintman. They're coming up, blasting their way around turn 1, sending it through turn 2. We need to ride on board with someone. We're on board with Paintman, who can see all the action as they make their way through the S's. Misfit has an accident. They blast their way through Tetra Rouge. Paintman is a little quicker than Moy, who's a little slower than Augie. Paintman's going to want to get into the slipstream of Moy, stay in the slipstream, and slingshot himself up to Augie, who has to deal with all of that wind coming at him first, punching a hole through the rest of the pack. Misfit is too far behind. She'll have to put in some good laps to try and catch back up with the rest of the group. But she did go second overall quickest during practice. She has it in her to make up the gap and claim a good spot on the podium. Hopefully, the top spot on the podium. The car is topping out at about 188 to 189, just fluctuating. Moy in the slipstream is a mile per hour quicker. Paintman, he's almost 2 miles per hour quicker, a total of 4 miles per hour quicker than Augie. Ooh, they make their way to the Mulsanne corner. Paintman around the outside, a little bit of kissing. Moy and Paintman both run a little wide, but that's great news for Augie, who's going to want to extend his gap. He's pulling away from Moy, who still has Paintman in his shadows. Paintman bumping to try and work together so they can both catch Augie. Misfit is losing out. She needs to improve her time and her timing on that corner if she's going to want to have a chance to try and catch up. Moy and Paintman going through Indianapolis. Ooh, Paintman with maybe a look up on the inside to Arnage. He doesn't want it. He wants it on the straight. Augie, the victim of the wind, pushing a hole for Moy and Paintman to just follow along and keep the gap small and tight.
I didn't say nothing.
They're making their way through the Porsche curves. Augie sending it. He's built up a little bit of a gap between Moy and Paintman, who both kiss the brakes at the same time. They're going through karting right now. Let's ride on board and see what happens. The Ford chicane. Tight from both. Romandom. They make their way to the start-finish line. Augie absolutely rapid through the Porsche curves to give him a little bit more of a gap. He might have dropped Moy and Paintman, and now he's made this a battle about pace. If he can keep that up and make sure that Moy and Paintman don't have a slipstream, he can run away with it. Misfit dives into pit. She's getting her pit stop done and over with. Unless she decides to run another. Paintman trying to get by Moy, but Moy refusing to yield. Augie has built up a 3-second gap, inching more to 3.1, 3.2. He's absolutely flying. Paintman and Moy still trying to work together to catch up, but they're going to need to be a little bit better through the Porsche curves to try and maintain a good gap to Augie. Misfit puts on a fresh set of tires and repairing her damage. She makes her way out. She's going to want to try and put in as good of a lap time as she can to try and catch the rest of the pack. Augie only losing hundredths of a second at a time. He's built a wonderful gap. Paintman and Moy having to really push together if they want a chance at catching up to him. And I promise you, Moy can see. Paintman's car makes it look like you can't really see much. Look at both of those beautiful black, dark green cars in the night at Lemans. The gap's now down to 2.7 as Augie makes the brakes absolutely glow coming into the Mulsanne corner. Paintman gets ahead of Moy, but he doesn't want to pull away. He's going to need Moy if he wants to have a good chance at keeping up with Augie. Paintman and Moy. The gap is ever so shrinking. Augie has lost it. He sends it into the wall. He needs to try and catch up now. He's done damage to his front right tire and his bumper. He was leading. Paintman now leads this race with half a second gap up to Moy, who's now fighting for his win. Augie's losing out big on time. Misfit's a minute behind. Things are shaking up. Paintman absolutely flying through Porsche curves. He wants to drop Moy and make this a race about pace. through the Ford chicane, through Ramadan. He goes to the start-finish straight with a 3.5 second, 3.7, I think, corrected lead. He puts in a 3:21.9. Moy, with a half-second penalty, this will work out in Augie's favor. But Augie, who has damage, has a 4.7, 4.8, 4.9 second gap as the gap increases. Paintman making his way through the S's. Sends it through Tetra Rouge. He begins the long straight with a 5.4 second gap. Well over a gap, good enough to not allow Moy to ride the slipstream. Same gap, bigger gap between Moy and Augie, who Augie also won't be able to get fully up to speed with that bumper damage. He's going to be losing out on time. Does he want to pit, or does he want to try and catch Moy, who has this half-second penalty? Augie's losing too much time to Moy. Something's going to have to happen. Moy running nice with no damage, as well as Paintman. Misfit, who's a minute behind, is on fresher medium tires than everyone. She has the most fuel, the most tires, and the most to gain. Misfit. Oh. Running a little wide in a section, getting a 1.5 second penalty. That will not work out in her favor at all. Augie is just losing 10th after 10th, second after second. With Moy, who comes through the Mulsanne corner, 6.2 behind Paintman. Paintman trying to eke out a gap as much as he can. He's now 6.2 seconds ahead, with the gap hovering around that 6.23 time. Augie giving it all the beans, but not getting as much speed as he wants with the car. Damage is brutal, and it could do in your entire race. Moy with the slowdown. Augie needs a good exit if he's going to want to try and still make up time against Moy. As it stands, the sun is coming up, and we can get a better look at the beautiful liveries within these cars. Paintman makes his way to the Ford chicane. Sends it left and then right through Ramadan. He starts lap 4. He puts in a best lap. He wants the win. Moy making his way through, runs a little wide. He's in the gravel. But the gap to Augie still ever growing. The damage not working out in his favor. Augie has taken a few tenths out on Moy's time, but Moy needs to make more mistakes. Ooh, where he does right there. If Augie wants a chance to catch him. Misfit's running her race in 4th. She's got no damage and fresh tires. She wants to catch Augie as quickly as she can. Augie, who's up almost 2 tenths from his last best lap. But let's watch where the gap finishes out. Starts at a 7.7, already making its way up drastically. Moy topped out at speed. Augie getting 12 miles, 10 miles per hour less. That's what's doing his racing. Paintman with a commanding lead now, up to 13 seconds. He must have had a moment somewhere. He ran a little wide, used a little too much concrete. He has a half-second penalty. Moy running a little bit wide again. That could give him a penalty. I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out in a second. As it seems right now, he's in the clear, using every inch of available track given to him. He's being followed by Augie. Paintman has had a moment. Paintman has crashed between Indianapolis and Arnage. The gap has dropped significantly to Moy, who's now only 7 seconds behind. But Moy has put in almost 5 seconds to Augie on that straightaway and the resulting straightaway after the Mulsanne corner. Paintman is now running with a little bit of damage. He's 5.7 ahead, but let's see how long that lasts with Moy, whose tires are half gone, only a quarter fuel left, but absolutely no damage. Does he have the pace to catch Paintman? The Mulsanne Straight is going to be interesting. He needs to have a good first sector getting into the Mulsanne Straight, so that way he can focus on catching him on pure speed against Paintman. Moy makes his way through the Ford chicane, approaching Ramondon. Raccordement? Yeah, Raccordement. I'm getting better. He's gaining ever so slowly on Paintman, whose little bit of damage causes him to run up wide again, lifting to make sure, or try and make sure he has as many chances to not pick up a penalty, as he does not need to lose more time out to Moy. Moy, who is now 7.3 seconds behind. This sector is really important. He wants a stellar exit out of Tetra Rouge going into the Mulsanne Straight, so he can focus on just speed and catching Paintman. Paintman having a good first sector. He's put a 10th on Moy, but Moy begins the long journey down the Mulsanne Straight with Paintman. The gap is 7.8. We'll see it slowly fall. The gap is 7.5, 7.4, 7.3. Let's check in with Misfit. She's making her way through the Dunlop curves. Cutting a little too on the inside of the S's. Picking up another penalty. She'll have to work on this for tomorrow if she wants a shot at being competitive and getting as many places as she can. She ran second quickest. She has the pace. It's just cleaning up the little bit of mistakes. The gap down to 6.4 between Paintman and Moy. Moy has a worse exit, but Moy can get up to speed a little bit better than Paintman can. The gap hovers 6.3. We'll go on board with Paintman, leaving the Arnage corner, down the left-hand straight, approaching the Porsche curves. This is where he's really taken some time out of people's gaps. Through the first set, through the second set, lifting and coasting to save those tires. I don't know how long the race is set for, but will he dive into the pits for a refuel, or will he push it out for another lap? Is this the last lap? I may never know. Paintman into the pits. Moy following behind. He's taken the gap down to 7.7 seconds. Paintman gaining a few tenths in the pit lane. Paintman and Moy both in the pits. Can Augie duke it out for another lap with his fuel and tires? No, he dives into the pits. He has a few moments. That's alright, he's about to get that repaired. Paintman is first into his box. He changes out from racing mediums to racing mediums. He's getting his fuel reloaded, and he will have to wait just a little bit longer to repair the damage he's had. They work on the damage now, and he makes his way out. He leaves the pits. Moy, refueling. He leaves the pits. Paintman already through the Dunlop curves. Moy has taken 2.2 seconds out of the gap without having to repair damage in the pit lane. Now it's a battle of pace. We're live with Paintman. Going through Tetra Rouge. He's got no damage and everything to lose. He wants this race. He's already eked up half a second on Moy. Augie cutting over the pit lane exit. He picks up a 3-second penalty. This is not good. Paintman coming through the Mulsanne corner. Followed by Moy. Paintman has picked up a second on Moy through that lap, but Moy has the better exit. Moy barely getting into the picture. He wants to be gaining on Paintman as much as he can. Oh, has Moy had a moment? Moy must have had a moment. The gap now 11 seconds. 5 seconds lost on the bottom sectors of the track between Moy and Paintman. Augie does his slowdown penalty. It's all out pace now. Paintman through the Ford chicane. Through he starts lap 7. The gap 13.7 seconds. Moy through the S's. Ooh, Moy kissing the wall barely. Moy's next closest opponent is now Augie, who has dropped the gap to 13.5 even after a slowdown penalty. All three of our pilots on the Mulsanne straight. Hard on the brakes to the Mulsanne corner. Using all the track. Moy about to do the same thing. Let's check in with Augie as he approaches the Mulsanne corner. Beautiful, beautiful blue and white livery from Augie, must I say. Let's get a full moment to appreciate this livery. Absolutely stunning, if I do say so myself. Moy in the Monster Energy livery. Beautiful black and white, accented by that neon green. Paintman running his Sprite livery. Beautiful cascade of greens and yellows, capturing the essence of Sprite. The gaps. Paintman to Moy, 16.2. The gap, Moy to Augie, 12.9. Augie has already taken a second out of the gap. Augie is on a mission to claim the second step on the podium. .4 the gap. Letting the cameras do the work for me. through the Porsche curves into karting. Oh, Paintman having to collect himself. He makes a nice save. Getting a little bit too much of the dreadful, dreadful sausage of raccordement. Let's see if Boy can tame the beast. He does. Augie only 9 seconds behind him. Can he tame the beast? He does. Paintman good to get away with no damage there. Boy, maybe starting to feel the pressure of Augie behind him. Sending it around Tetra Rouge. Augie 7.6 behind. He's 4/10 up on his fastest lap. Augie with the better exit. Just more time to take out that gap to, or Augie, yeah, to take out that time to Boy. Let's ride on board with Augie in the Monster Energy NSX. Boy coming into the Mulsanne corner. Flings it to the right, hard on the brakes. Ooh, it's all or nothing for Augie. He has 7 seconds to catch Boy. It's the final lap. Paintman making his way through Indianapolis and Arnage. He's got this in the bag if he can maintain it. Boy sending it into Indianapolis. Getting a little loose. He runs a little wide, hard on the brakes. Augie is 8.3 behind. Did something happen to Augie? Did he realize it was the last lap and make a little mistake that has cost him time? Boy, pushing out of Arnage. So is Augie. Augie wants it. We join in with Paintman as he makes his way through karting. Started in third, fought his way up, caught a little bit of damage, maintained the gap through Indianapolis and Arnage, or the Ford chicane and Robin. He comes in first. Boy, the gap down to 6.5, 5.4, 5.3. The gap is shrinking ever so quickly. Boy, through the Ford chicane. Taking it nice and easy through the wall. Boy comes in second place. Augie was on the charge, down to 4.0 seconds. He comes in third. That is your race, your practice race at Le Mans. It's victory for Paintman as he finishes with a time of 31 minutes, 19 seconds. His best lap was a 3:25.88. Moy coming in second place with a 24.0. His best lap was a 3:26.0. Augie on the charge but couldn't get it done in the final lap. He finishes 28 seconds behind Paintman with a best lap of 3:23.0. and Misfit, the second fastest in practice, couldn't finish the race. A series of unfortunate events for her, but she'll aim to improve tomorrow and aim for a step on the podium in the ASR Apex Speed Racing GR2 Series for your final championship fight at Le Mans. That is all for me. Good night and goodbye. Kisses.